Hey guys, welcome to our office hours. This is office hours episode 223. I'm here with Ben. And for those that don't know, we host office hours every day. You can come here 6 times per week, I should say, rather. You can come here. You can basically ask your questions. We can't promise answers, but we do promise you won't suffer alone. And we get it right most of the time. And so we're here with Ben today, just Ben. Some users may join, but Ben, do you have any questions right now, or are we just hanging out?
Yeah, I got a couple that I wanted to kind of flow through, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
So big question is getting combining searches, different searches,
Yep.
and also how to run a sort within a search. So I can show you.
Yeah.
Basically rebuilding everything into reusables at this stage, and this is a reusable.
Okay.
And I've set it up the fuzzy search here, so you can see it works just fine and is really quick. But then how do I have that with this, I guess, to make
Sure.
that
Yeah.
work?
Definitely. We're looking to basically be able to look on a search element, but then also take into consideration the type, location, and other factors.
Correct.
One of the things that we may want to do is everything, I imagine, the search and filter at least is in a group, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm thinking what we could do is we could have this repeating group that we're actually pulling all that data, looking at the data source of this, the search and filter up here. And so what we would do is we would change basically the query. We'd take all of this into consideration, say when the search and filters value is this, then the repeating group would show as such. So really we're trying to merge these searches is basically what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
And so there, off the top of my head, it seems like there's probably a couple ways to do it, but we would go ahead and click on that repeating group up top, or that group up top rather, not the repeating group, but the group. So the group source, this is a group brand search filters. Okay. And I'm assuming what we're going to truly have to do is we are going to have to put some things into custom states for this to actually work. So the search, basically, I'm trying to think out loud here.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely something that's going to require a little bit of thinking out loud. But we have the search, and then we also have, let's just focus on one, I guess, the status in this case. So ultimately, this repeating group is going to have to be looking at a macro source. And what I mean by that is instead of having it differentiated by search and status, it would be looking at search and status. So off the top of my head, like I had said, we're going to want this repeating group to be looking not at the search filter or the search input, but rather the group. So we should be able to do something in our backend or our workflow here where we change the source of the repeating group. So if we go to our workflow on the backend, we should be able to, so let's add a new event. And let's see here. So we have the elements, element is clicked and values changed. Okay, and that's just looking at one. Okay, we can do a general, and we can start off by saying when a condition is true.
When a condition is true?
Yep. So do when condition is true. And for now, we can say when, let's say input, whatever the search is, and this would also be a run always. So run this always. Yeah, every time. And so it's going to be an only when.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do, let's say search input in this case. So we're, yeah, input brand location, search input. Yep, just like that. Value, only when value is not empty. And then more. And then we're basically going to add these conditionals or. And then we're going to, let's focus on one other, I think it was status, I think we had as one of the other input fields.
Yeah. Status is actually empty. It'd have to be this one if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. So drop down brand type. That'd be value is not empty as well. And so at least we're focusing on these two at the very moment, but now we want to add an action.
Mhm.
And so the action that we're going to want to do is we should be able to see a change source. See, where would it be? Group display data, I believe, is what we would be wanting. And so the element would be the repeating group on the bottom.
It's weird.
It's not showing up.
No.
Brand search small cards. Oh, okay. Search small cards. It's pretty weird. Okay, let me use my brain here real quick because this might not be the best way to do it then. What are the things that we could experiment with at the very least? So we'll click on this repeating group and we'll do a conditional. So one of the conditionals. So cool, awesome, is not empty. Fuzzy's value is not empty. The best way to do this. Because we're looking, and it's going to be more than just 2 searches, right? We're going to be doing like 3 or 4.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
What's the way to get around this? This is a really good question. I don't think I've ever done anything like this before. I've had things on the same record. So, you know, like drop downs or let's see.
I thought there would have been a plugin or something for this because it would be such a thing for any sort of listing app, I guess, bringing in multiple searches.
Well, I'm assuming that at the end of the day, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at, we're going to be merging basically everything. So the data source for this repeating group is going to be all of these filters merged together. And we're going to be able to tell what the value should be. At least Bubble should be able to tell what the value is when we actually change it. So if we go back to appearance on this repeating group and we search for brands, so we're searching for brands that are, and the conditionals where we have it set currently. Search for data, search for brands. And this is the constraint would just simply be, go back to your conditional. Let me take a look at that real quick, how that's set up. Conditional input brand search values is not empty. Data sources, search for brand search matches. And
what I was thinking was putting in the other ones here, the other conditionals here, and then saving that conditional on the search as well. And so it covers all of them, saving that constraint, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that would also work, but I also think going back to our conditional here, and then doing where data source search and autocorrect brand search matches, we do a merged with after that. And then we're going to do a search again for, in this case, brands that match whatever the status's value is. And then we're going to do a merge search where, again, we're searching for brands with the type or whatever the value of the type is in this case. And so my thought process here is, even if those input filters are empty, we shouldn't run into any issues. And then when they are not empty, the data source will be able to reflect that. So I genuinely think what we're going to want to do is have it looks like 4 separate data searches merged all together. And if you want to work on that with me right now, we totally can, just to see if that actually does what we want it to.
Yep, let's do it.
So yeah, so merged with, and then I guess we're just doing a search for the brand searches again, right? Or whatever the search and autocorrect brand search matches is. Search for brand, yeah. And so now this constraint would be, we could focus on the status. So where the status equals drop down statuses. Yep.
Yeah, see, I haven't even got status in here yet.
Okay, yeah, we can totally just forget about that one and go to type then.
Like that?
Yeah, and then one of the things that I also think is going to be important is ignoring empty constraints.
Yeah.
And then we'll do one more with location. So merge with search for brands where we're looking for the location.
So do another merge.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, we had done this with Kelly on her Algolia search, and it worked pretty well. So I'm assuming, fingers crossed, it should work well as we want it to, at least here.
Is within. See, I'd never been able to
Brand.
get this done right. Is within. Do I do a search of?
I'm going to be completely honest. This is the first time that I've seen 3 of these red boxes here. And so this is specific to the location. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay. So it looks like,
I think
oh,
it's like
it's a proximity kind of thing is what we're looking
yeah,
for right now. Oh, okay, okay.
within 10 kilometers of. That.
Cool. Okay. So fingers crossed, we have 3 merges here. Now we should be able to actually do something with this. Let's preview this and see if we can filter.
Okay.
And I'm assuming these have already been set up and each brand has the right type.
I would assume so. Yep.
And
So
then,
there's a few that have that. There's none that have that.
okay, let's go back and do the fuzzy search. Let's ignore that empty constraint as well.
Oh, okay. Here, do a search for brands on the conditional. How do I do that? Is that be on here?
No, that should be in the repeating group from the data
There we
source
go.
that we're looking. Oh, is that it? Okay. Oh, we're using, well, it makes sense. We're using a different search function. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do a step-by-step real quick, if you don't mind. And then let's change that source and see if anything happens. So workflow, your search input bag is not empty, or dropdown spread type is not empty. This is looking at, okay, so we're looking at the do when it's true. So we still have that active in the back. We didn't delete that, so we might want to do that.
Was it this one? No. Which one was it? That one. No.
Do an input brand location is not empty. It's the first one. Yeah, that I believe that's it there. That could have been overriding it, maybe.
No.
Nothing. Okay, and then do one more time the step by step here. Let's see if that while we're on here, yeah.
Why is that not popping up?
Okay. Well, it's not a backend workflow, and I was just curious if that would throw anything or change anything. But also, what I want to do now is that I want to inspect this repeating group, what we're dealing with here down there. Oh no, on that page, we can go back there and just inspect it. Yeah. Okay, and then I want to scroll down a little bit because I want to see what the data source is saying. Oh, looks like we were highlighting a cell.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Cards, brand, small, and that's what it should be, right?
Well, that's not the repeating quarter, is it?
We'll go ahead and click on that. And then on the right-hand side, right next to that stop button, you'll see the actual tree, like those items that you can. So it says test page that you're hovering over.
Yeah.
So click that in the end. Then we should be able to select the repeating group through here. Okay, cool. So let's scroll down a little bit. Looks like we're going to scroll probably all the way down to the bottom, I think. Okay. So the data source currently is search for brands. And then we also have that conditional set. When we scroll just a little bit where that conditional shows, it says that it's not true currently. Yep, right there. Oh, scroll the other way. Input brand search input fuzzies value is not empty. So let's go ahead and click on that real quick. Because this is the conditional we set up. So that's not true. Okay, cool. All right, go to the data source now where it is search for brands. You had the right idea, I think, the first time. So let's click on search for brands. Oh, no, I'm sorry, dude. Right in the debugger still, or in the inspector.
Oh, okay. That?
Where it says data source, search for brands, it's in the middle of your screen on the bottom. Okay, let's search for brands and let's see. So that's all it is it's searching for a brand. Oh, wow. Okay, weird. Do me a favor. Let's go back to the actual designer. And data sources search for brands. Let's click on that. And then, okay, conditional, because we want this conditional to be true probably. That's where we set up this logic, right? Where we're merging all the searches.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Take that, copy and paste this, the data source. And then let's go to appearance. And let's just paste it right there. I don't think this is going to work, but I'm curious. So let's go ahead and try this out.
Sure did.
Oh, look at that.
And what if I go? Yep, that's fine.
No, the only thing that I would think of being a slight issue is I know that you typed in iconic and that isn't the first result.
Oh, no. So it can search the brand's bio and they might have that written in their bio.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if I went like this and then went stance, oh, that's weird. Oh, that might have it as well. No one else will have that. Yeah, see, now it is coming up with a few of them.
And so let's see why that's happening. Do a inspect here. And go onto that repeating group again. And so these brands, they're showing up with the logic that we put in, which would be, now I think honestly, these are all apparel and fashion. So that's probably why they're all showing up. So we're searching for anything that either has Umbro or either has apparel, fashion, and accessories. So that's why we're going to have multiple show up. And that makes sense to me. Now, is this going to be something that you're going to want to only have, let's say, when it's very specific like this? Would you only want a very specific brand to show up?
Yeah, like I'd like it to be and instead of or.
Gotcha. Okay. And okay, let's go back to your the data source and let's see if there's anything that we can look at here. So merged with, let's click on that guy. Yeah, search for brands right there in the middle. Merged with. And then, okay, let's click on more.
Where we in which,
Yeah, right there on the data source. I apologize. So search for brands, click on more. Let's scroll down a little. Let's see what are the options that we have here. Anything that we might be able to work with, because merged is going to be awesome. Okay, so we have intersect with, and what intersect is going to do is it's going to show us the results of things that occupy both of those searches. It's only going to show us one. So we're taking. Well, I can't say with confidence, but I am still curious. So let's go ahead and do the. Let's replace the first merged with. Let's do an intersect right there. So right under merged with, intersect with. And this is going to only give us basically what ends up happening with an intersect is we have one list with values and another list with values. And if those values are the same, then it shows, and only then will it show. So not super confident this is going to be the use case here, but what if, you know?
well, it's not showing any now.
Yeah, I guess these are all okay. Yeah, didn't think that was going to work. Just wanted to see. Okay, let's get rid of intersect. Let's just go back to merge in this case. Would we use a filter? Let's see, do some. So click on the middle search for brands. Yep. Let's add a constraint. Let's see. Brands type contains.
See, I was sure we just put in all of these and made empty constraints.
That's, yeah, I'm going to go off that and say that's probably a smart idea here. So let's go ahead and add those constraints there. So just multiple. And in this case, what you're saying is we're going to add multiple for all of the filters, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Then we can clear this out, can't we? Because it's just a search for brands.
Yeah. I'm thinking that we can.
Yeah, until this hits. And then oh, it's not, it should be results. Okay, so there we go. Then what I think we need to do is clear this. We go to a search for brands. The brand location. So again, of location. Value. No empty constraints.
I have confidence this is going to be faster and probably work better than the previous merged with.
Value. And then I think we grab that. We go up here and we add it here. Ah, damn, I'm gonna have to do it again. Sorry.
No, good. We're or no worries. I'm sorry. We're just waiting. We're chilling. We're vibing right now.
And type. Tenants. Okay, here we go.
Da-da-da-dum-da-da.
Okay, so they're all showing up now. Let's go that. Yeah, cool. And let's go that.
There we go. That's exactly what we want.
Exactly. And then if I do clear all filters, started a workflow on that and say reset inputs. That should work, right?
Yeah, we could also change the source of the repeating group again, I believe. Back to just like its most basic. Actually, no, I think never mind.
No.
So yeah, let's go back to the workflows.
Mhm.
So not reset relevant inputs. We could reset the group, as I previously mentioned, basically having the repeating group looking at the group's value that we're setting using like a state or something. That would be a little sort of out of the way. That would work though. But instead we'll do let's do the set data or display data. No, that's right. We worked with that way. That didn't work.
Yeah. I think it's because this is in this group. I think it needs to be in this group. So if I go like this and go like this, I'm pretty sure that will work now. Well, I think that would work now. Oh, I didn't change it back, did I? No, I just deleted it. Okay. Reset inputs. No, I was wrong.
Do me a favor. This step by step. Let's do step by step, and then click reset inputs. I'm sure it's going to tell us that it's resetting something. So run next. And there are no relevant inputs that it is resetting. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's reset the group. So we have the search status type and all of these filters. They should be in one group, correct? What do we call this? Group brand search filters. All right, let's go ahead and reset the data of group brand search filters in the backend workflow. I say backend, I guess it's really not back. It's just in the workflow.
So which do you want me to do, sorry?
Yeah, no worries. We should, let's do reset data, I believe. Now we're using the search and autocorrect as well though, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll experiment with something else if this doesn't work, but let's try it again.
Look at that.
Okay, cool, sweet.
It's a beautiful thing.
That is, I I like it. Heck yeah. Cool. So now we have it filtering the way that we want to with multiple constraints, and then we have the ability to reset it.
We do. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful.
Wicked. We like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Jonathan is sitting out here waiting for us.
Cool.
Hey, Jonathan, welcome. Don't know how long you've been sitting out there. I do apologize. Ben and I have we've been tackling some workflow stuff. How you doing?
Hey Cameron, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Sorry I'm a bit late.
No worries. No worries whatsoever. What can I do for you today?
I was just actually having a look at some slugs. So I could share my screen if you want, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So Ben doesn't have anything, like it's all good?
We literally just finished as you jumped on. It was perfect
Oh
timing.
wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Meant to be.
Okay, where is it? Cool, can you see this?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so basically what I'm just hoping to do is just when I click any of these menus on the left, just have a slug basically updated at the end of the URL for just the name of the heading, really. Yeah.
So we're trying to change the URL. Just like we're trying to append a slug. Is that correct?
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to update it. I don't exactly know how slugs work, but I don't know if like, because this is an app that all uses the same page, if it's viable. But ideally, whenever I click on each individual menu on the left here, I'd like it to show as a slug. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And the way that it works right now is it doesn't really change anything.
Correct.
It's sort of like a tab where, you know, you're on a website, you click on a tab, and then the URL says tab 1 and then tab 2 or whatever. Very
Yeah,
similar
exactly.
to
Yeah.
that. Okay. Yeah. So each, like a record basically is given a slug, and the slug is its unique URL of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good question. We're going to be working this on this together. We're going to be thinking out loud a lot.
Yep.
So let's see here. And we have the ability to change a slug via the workflow. And so when something happens, we can change a slug. Let's go ahead and just experiment with one tab right now.
Yep. So I've was trying to work on the workflow before, so I'll bring it up.
Okay.
So the first thing I tried was just really to set a thing slug. So I was hoping that I could set it to the current page and then type anything in here, but it didn't seem to work.
And so that would be, well, what for this case, what tab are we clicking on? This is announcements?
Correct, yeah. So
okay. Let's go ahead and do just that. Let's type in announcements. Perfect. Yep. Okay. Trying to think if bubble is, because we could change the URL parameters. Okay, go ahead and click here to add an action. Let's just explore with what we have here. Let's see. So we can go to page, we can do that.
Sorry.
So I'm thinking the way that we typically do this in like web development, we'd use jQuery and we'd say, we'd set an ID for a particular tab, and then when we click that, we'd basically be saying go to this page is what it sort of would end up doing. And I wonder if that might be sort of like the workaround, not using jQuery, rather using bubble. So set a thing slug, and then we're gonna do like a navigation. Maybe let's just do navigation. Let's go to page. The destination, and this is gonna be an external page actually. So right now we've selected go to page, but there's also another option that says go to external.
Yep.
Yep. And so we're going to take this current, it should be like this current page's URL, I think, as the destination. Scroll down a little. Oh yeah, okay, cool. This URL, yep.
Sorry, I think I just clicked on something then.
Oh, no worries. Bubble does that every once in a while, doesn't it?
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, this URL, and then we're going to do a slash, or we could do let's just do a slash, or we could, it was like a question mark. We could do a question mark probably, actually. Cool, and we'll leave that. And we should be given another dynamic text box to enter information into after that.
Sorry, it's a bit fiddly. All right, so what do you want here? Like,
so let's keep this URL, right? Click out of that, and it should be fine with just that.
Yep.
Cool. And then we're going to add something else here. We're going to add, let's see. Well, current pages slug, well, because we're setting it, right? We're setting this current pages slug.
Yeah.
Is that what we do? That is what we're doing in step 6, correct?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I thought that I might just be able to set the current page data type as slug and then just put something through, but it doesn't seem to reflect. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so let's go back to step 7, open external website. And we are more than likely going to want to, in between this URL and current page slug, put either a slash or a question mark. And if it requires dynamic text and we can't just write text, we might do an arbitrary text, but maybe this will work. Okay. And let's try this out. I'm thinking what we're going to have to do is also use URL parameters when the page is reloaded to then display certain information. So if we click on announcements.
Oh, sorry, it's got a conditional only when it's not already showing. So.
Nope.
Lorem ipsum.
Okay, see that. Interesting. So let's go. And actually, are you running this as a user currently?
Yes.
Okay.
All these colors and everything are current user dynamic fields, like the logos and everything. So yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So yeah, we really don't want to have it reload the page either. That's sort of, it breaks the idea of having it as a single page. Okay, give me a couple seconds because I'm thinking. So I know that we can use, like I said, jQuery and JavaScript to modify the address of the URL. But I don't really want to do that. I want to keep it sort of relative to bubble. I wonder if there is a plugin for this.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, I'm looking on my end as well as you do that. I should just like type in slug and see what comes up.
Generate clean URL slug.
I can go ahead and test this out for us. Let's see if so convert any text into a clean and SEO friendly URL. Okay. For demo, let's go to the demo here. Are you pulling it up on your end too?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. It'd be cool if there was a plugin solution to this. So this is giving us the option to convert this string, which is, this is crazy and cool, it looks like. To this is crazy and cool. Not exactly what we're wanting to do. So Okay, let's see. That's a really good question, to be honest. Yeah, so we did what I was thinking would probably be the way to do it, which was, of course, append the slug. Now we don't want it to reload. And so changing the URL, I don't think is going to be a native bubble functionality. We have
Yeah, that's what I
URL
thought.
parameters.
Because I thought that slugs basically work off page loads and things like that. Yeah, different pages. Let me have a look. And I was thinking about maybe trying to set a custom state against the page itself that's updated from each heading getting clicked, but I don't think that'll work either. I don't know.
I think there would be the way to set it to where, like we had basically, which is when you click on something, it reloads the page and it reloads the URL.
Yeah, that's probably why when I was using like set slug, like it wasn't working if it needs to reload. Yeah.
So there is, let me think, because I know that you can use, how do they do it in regular JavaScript? Well, I guess if we make it an href, make it a link, basically, that's ultimately what we're doing. So let's go back to our the announcements. So that button that we click.
Yep.
Oh, Alexander just joined. Hey, Alexandria, sorry for having you wait. Welcome, welcome.
Race.
Okay, so what we're gonna want to do is let's try a very similar thing where we're going to URL or go to external. Oh, would that be? Let's try it out. Hey, Ben, you have a good one, man. Oh, he left. Goodbye, Ben.
I was just about to say something as well. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yep. So I'm thinking we're gonna still want to send this to an external site, external page.
Hmm.
So what we're doing is we're assigning a link attribute to it, basically. Now, what we're sending it to is going to be a hashtag in this case, and then that slug. So we shouldn't actually be sending us anywhere. It should append to the
Cool.
URL. And that's what I'm thinking should happen.
Mm-hmm. So do you want me to add something here? Sorry.
Yeah,
Or...
yeah. My apologies. Yeah, go ahead and click here
okay.
to add an action.
Yep.
And let's go to navigation. We're going to go to an external page.
Okay, yep.
And we're going to do hashtag, then the slug. This is pretty simple. It shouldn't actually send us anywhere.
I just got to take it off this to load it. Yep.
Yep, no worries. And so you're clicking on announcements, and it's not working. It's not working because it's like, hey, we want to go to hashtag announcements, but that's not a valid URL. Okay, shoot. Give me 1 second. I think, oh no. Because there is, let me try. I have a little snippet of code that I think might work, but run JavaScript. So let's say when we click on, I'm going to go to an empty page. And you can't see my screen. I apologize here. Let me
All good.
my computer wanted to actually work, that would be amazing. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Yep. Do you need to take, can you take up? Yep. Awesome.
So what I'm trying to do is I want this JavaScript to run where I say window hash equals and then announcement. Okay, so when page is loaded, let's see if this works. Page is loaded. Okay. So cool. Awesome. We got it to work. This is the code that you're going to want. So I'm going to paste this in the chat. Yep. But window.location.hash equals announcement. And this is going to be unique to whichever button that you press, of course, obviously. You would just have it so when this button is pressed, then, well, run JavaScript, and then this would be the JavaScript that runs.
Cool. Yep. I think that should work. Let me have a look.
I'll also do something else where we have, let's say, just a button here, because I want to see if we're going to be clicking multiple buttons in your case, right? So,
yep. Yeah, it doesn't seem to update the button.
Let's do Okay, so we have both announcement and then because we're super creative here. So let's go ahead. Announcement. It's this. It does look like it's competing with each other. This is when page is loaded. Okay, so it looks like when we have multiple, we're going to want to pass in an empty string. So the way that I would start it is I would actually do it like this every single time for every single button. I'd have an empty string above, and then I'd have the actual announcement. So fingers crossed. This should load and it should just say announcement. Perfect. And then this should say, And for testing sake, we'll do one more. This will be the button, and this will be the bamboozle button. And then we'll do.
Still not working on my end. I don't know why.
One second. We'll take a look at just a second. I just want to see if this will do what we want. Announcement, and then bam, and then and it really does look like it is fighting each other here still. It's running asynchronous. We actually might want to. Announcement, Well, it should work. Why? Ultimately, I feel it's appropriate to say, we have been bamboozled.
That's all right.
So this is at least the right direction. I know for a fact that it is going to be using the use of JavaScript, I should say, to help us with this.
Yeah.
I will do a little bit more research for you, because this is something that I'm curious about too. And similarly, I don't know if you had seen earlier today, I had sent several screenshots of the calendar function. I don't know if you had seen that. You had
no, sorry, I've had my head in bubble all day, but I'll have a look now.
Well, here, let me go ahead and show you while I have you here, and it's only going to be a brief couple moments, and then I'll help Alexandria with what she has. But I did this on the January sandbox. And the reason it took so long, of course, is not only life has been crazy, but I wanted to wait until the month updated. So February, January was 1, February is 2, now February according to the calendar, is 1. So I wanted to make sure that we could actually perform that. This is not the calendar page, obviously. This is where I just have the button. And so I'll show you what the button does. This is where I click sort, and it runs through API workflow on the back end. What we're passing in is we're passing in all of the months via or with its text. So January through December text. You don't have to do a split by comma. I was just experimenting. It does work the same as if we just did search for month each items. Still a list of texts. So we'll go to our backend workflows, and this is where it gets pretty fun. And you could probably actually come up with a better way to do it, but this is the way that I envisioned it. So again, we're passing in the month, it's a list. And we're actually starting it off and we're saying we're clearing out everything. So this would, for you on the 1st at midnight, would clear out everything, and it would run through then the first month where it contains the keywords of the current month formatted as February. We do that with here in a custom format. So it's looking for February and it says 1/1. Cool. Next step is we are going to be going to the rest of the months. Basically, we start a new workflow.
Yeah.
What we're going to be doing, though, this is where it gets pretty important. We are only passing in months that don't contain February and are greater than the created date of February in this case. And so the way that I had created these records was in sequential order, starting with January all the way to December, January being the 1st, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And so we're just making sure that we're passing in only the months that are greater than February. What we do, pretty simple, searching for the months. And again, we're doing the same kind of constraint here because we're searching for a particular month with the text. We're making sure that it lines up. We're just matching, taking the value, adding 1 every single time it does that. And so like any recursive workflow, month minus item, month first item, cool. And we're just passing in the value of the count and value from step 1. Then we have one more thing here, and that's basically what months did we not get? So we're searching for the months where the value is empty. And I'll show you in just a second what this actually looks like. Month count is 0. This is just a only when that we have here. And then last but not least, searching for the months where it contains the keyword of the month first item, the value still being incremented by 1. And then we basically do this until it, runs out. You would have one more step here, and this would be schedule. You would schedule another workflow for midnight on the 1st. But while I have this here, I'm going to go ahead and show us what it looks like. Let's preview this. Cool. Pulling up the records, we see it here. I'll refresh it for us. It gets rid of all of these things, and it's now going to start counting. So it starts from February, goes all the way up the list.
Interesting.
And then 12. Yeah, so it's sort of an interesting way to definitely go about it. Like I said, you could probably make it a little better, but this is, in my brain, how I sort of had it broken down. And then lastly, I do just want to show you, because I added this drop down here. The way that the calendar works is based on custom states, and we're incrementing and basically just taking away every single time we click one of these arrows. It's going to be the same thing here, where now we're actually able to click on these things here. We're able to actually.
Yeah.
So it does work. What I will say is I ran into one bug just now, actually, where you will notice this is February 2022. And this is January of 2023. So one small bug, and if I had to guess, the reason why that's the case is because the value is 12. We're stepping up a year.
Yeah.
I wonder if this fixes it. Okay, cool. Yep.
Oh, awesome.
And so you can change that then, instead of having it start at the previous value, because it went from 11 to 12, you could restart it when it's looking for empty values. If I had to guess, at 0 or something similar to that. But yes, so it looks like there is still like a tiny bit of a bug to work through. But I wanted to show you proof of concept. This is how I approached it. And this is.
No, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, this is the way you get it. Cool.
Would it be possible to get access to like a clone of that page just so I could, see the workflows and everything else? Because it looks quite complicated.
Surely, yes. I'm gonna have to ask Tanya about that.
Yeah, all good. No,
I'm sure I
no,
can.
no direct rush, but yeah, that'd be awesome.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Yeah, because I built it for you. So I want to share with you. Definitely. Yeah. Not a
No, thanks.
problem.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I'll continue looking at the slug thing because it's pretty interesting and I want to figure it out. So I'll let you know when I get there.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. We're gonna hop over to Alexandria. Alexandria, thanks for waiting so patiently. How you doing? What are we helping you out with today?
Hi, no worries. I might need to see it on after hours just because it has to do. I just realized that my Stripe is now giving me an API error. So I just need to see if I need to like just roll over the code or something, but I can't really share that.
Totally get it. Yeah, you have some pretty sensitive stuff. Absolutely understand. While you're here, and before we do go ahead and sign off on the after office hours, I do want to show you what I had shown you in the Loom yesterday.
Yes, I
were
didn't
you
have a chance to see it. I
Cool,
started to
cool.
watch it and then I was like, I'm gonna do it before. Sorry, I was like, I'm gonna do it before I hop on, and then things happened and I hopped on. I was like, oh no, I didn't do my homework. So I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries. It's really, really simple. So we're just using custom states. And so what we had done yesterday is like I told you, I was like, this isn't the best way to do it, but it is a way to do it. This is going to be the better way to do it. So in theory, what we're doing here is basically just a more efficient method of what we did yesterday, where we basically said, hey, look at these records for this kind of this parameter, so on and so forth. Now we're just using custom states. So we're telling the repeating group, hey, look at the custom states of whatever we're clicking, and that's where we want this resource or this data to be. So
Okay.
without further ado, very simple. We basically say when we click this item, what we want is we want to set a custom state for this item. And so this is specific to you because you're going to be wanting to clicking on users and then showing messages or threads, perhaps.
Yeah.
So what we do is we set the state. And we can set the state as a user. So custom state, and these two are both users already, but I'll go ahead and remove that. Just create a new one here called user state. And we're going to be selecting user. And as simple as it is, current cells user. This repeating group is set as a user. And so that's why we're given the option of current cell. So pretty simple. You're going to have it set up just like this on your left-hand side as users, and then on the right-hand side as messages, or like I said, maybe even threads. I don't know how it's set up, but the logic's the same, where now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be searching for these messages where the user equals this repeating group's user state, which evaluates to a user. So I will show you here. We're going to go to messages. I have two messages, one associated with the admin account and then one associated with my account. Oh, so I'll refresh that. And then I'll do a step-by-step as well for us. We're going to click on the admin here. And what it's saying is it's setting the state of this current cells user, which the current cells user is admin. And then what it does, and when we inspect this repeating group, it shows us this is the test 2. It belongs to search for messages where the user equals the user state. And again, the user state is just a user.
Okay.
So we're just basically saying, look for this user through a custom state instead of having it a little bit more convoluted, I guess. So we basically reduce this into one workflow action instead of, I think we had 2 or 3, and it's faster and it's just gonna be better for you all the way around. You'll see I click on admin, this shows up, click on me, this shows up, and click on somebody that doesn't have any, nothing shows up.
Can I have you check on issues that are showing up? What are the issues that are populating for you on that, and if they're related? Because what I had is after we set it up, it was like, and sometimes Bubble does that for some reason, where it will tell me that I need to like set the page to user versus like to thread or something like that. And then I change it and then it populates 2 more issues because of that. And then I change it and it kind of changes it back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah.
And I'm
Welcome to
just
Bubble.
this like loop where I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do, Bubble.
Cool. Yeah, I'll take a
Okay,
couple
but
minutes
it's
for sure.
actually-
Do you want to stream your screen so I can take a look? I just want to say these issues aren't relevant to this page, unfortunately.
Okay. Then
These
no.
are different things.
Then it's good. I actually had another question come up as we were
Okay.
talking.
Cool.
Maybe
Yeah.
you can help me with, and it might be just how the data is stored. So let me
Okay.
find it on my screen. Have a look at my screen. Okay, so I had very repetitive. Like I had a filter, a search here, and then a search here. So I'm going to eliminate the one of the page and then just search the repeating group, right, with it being filtered. My issue is there are certain values that it's not letting me constrain by without it having its own independent data type, right? So what I had to do was, for example, make meeting space search and then like in my portal, have that also populate to this other one in order to be able to search. Because the amount of content that's like in hotel, each one of these, but then each one of these has, for example, amenities, has
Yep.
its own a bunch of data, right? Because it's a lot of data. So that's how kind of how we've built it and layered it.
Yep.
But when I go to search, it won't allow it. So it's not letting me search by the size, and it's not letting me search by the space type. So I don't know, because here I didn't have them. It's not recognizing it. So my question is more, is there a different way that I need to like put the
So can you show me how or where rather it's not recognizing it? Can you give me an example, like putting in a piece of data?
If we were to do space type, it should be searching for meeting space, right? Because
Yep.
that's what we're talking about. But then it doesn't have, like, let's say I do this, but then it won't give me any of the drop downs that I need for it to recognize. And if I do equal the same, it blocks out the drop downs, which is actually the ones, because when they sign up for meeting space, they have an option that says, you know, ballroom, event room, yoga shala, spa, for example, like all of those. So I need it to be able to filter by these, right? That's why it's a drop down. For example, with search facilities, it's fine and it's filtering through those. Like that filter is here for facility search. But then I realized that I actually made another data type that just contained that drop down data for it to be able to filter by. So I'm trying not to like overload the system and have to create a bunch of data types for, you know, I had to like pull out regions, I had to pull out room inventory, that it just has like, you know, this, for example, sustainability. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Right, it has 2 data points just because sustainability itself has so much that it's not actually going through and looking for those things. So I had to pull it out and make another data type. So my question is more, is there a way around that? Or do I just need to do it how I've been doing it and like create another data type and then just link it in the backend for when they sign up to have it populate to that data type as well?
I mean, you could always have the data types populate to other data types, or at least like nested from a parent-child perspective. That provides at least a little bit more, I'd say, integrity, I guess, data-wise. But I definitely am interested in the fact that, or I'm curious, that it's not showing it as something that it recognizes in the search. And you showed me, which example was it? It was a meeting space, correct?
For example, amenities search.
So the meeting
Right,
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this record that you have currently, because we're searching for hotels, so in the hotel, the meeting space, go to your data and the records for the hotel, and then go to meeting space. And we currently have
Yeah,
meeting space set as a meeting space.
Yeah,
So
that's linked to the meeting
Yep.
space.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay. So I think
Oh, from
that
hotel.
the way that this is probably going to be resolved is I'm thinking out loud here, but I think that one of the ways that this would be resolved is with option sets. So option sets in the you have data types, privacy app data, option sets. So you do have some things you've already been using option sets for.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we want to say we're wanting it to look at an option rather than we're wanting it to look at an actual meeting space. We're telling the record that, hey, we want it to look for a meeting space instead of a record. So we're trying to filter.
So I guess
Yeah, it's the way that
option.
so the way that you currently have it set up, it is looking for a particular record for the meeting space. It's looking for a meeting space record, whereas we're just trying to filter it based on the text in that dropdown. So the way that I would probably do this, I guess two things that I would try and experiment with at least would be one, option sets, and then also having another. I'm trying to think. I guess, yeah, because another record that says meeting space, but it's a text, perhaps. And so when the hotel is created with its amenities, it would be a text value that would be saved to it instead of an actual meeting space record. So thinking out loud, I do think that actually option sets are probably going to be the best because that's going to reduce the variability, I guess, of it. It's going to be a little bit more static, if you will. This makes sense in my brain. I don't know if it makes sense in your brain. I'm saying a lot of
it
words.
does. I think I forgot that I was using option sets because I see a lot of the option sets here. Some of them were internally, so it would populate that. But now it makes sense that if I do an option set for meeting space type and then have it search for that, because I guess that's how it ended up being, for example, facilities search. But also let's look at, yeah, because these are static.
And so since we're passing in text, but we're trying to reference an actual record, I think that's why we're running into an incompatible type error.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is what I'm going to recommend, at least for a solution to this issue here.
Okay. Yep. I will try that.
Man, I sympathize with you, though. I know what it's like building something out and getting so far and then it just not working. And I get it. And then you have to redo it. We had Ben on office hours earlier. He ran into a critical bubble error where his entire program stopped working and he has to rebuild it from scratch. So not good. I just want to say I get it. Yeah, no, he told me that in my heart. It felt really bad for him.
Once you're like rebuilding, like this is actually like the third version. I think I rebuilt it. I actually hired 2 developers and like they broke what I had built.
Oh,
to the point where I was just like, my investors are like, just get a developer. I'm like, I don't want anyone touching this ever again because I had to rebuild it 3 times. And yeah, I know that I kind of stack the data in like a kind of messy way. So it's, you live and you learn, and I will eventually migrate to Canvas and then be better at stacking the data. But
yeah, Tanya told me that Canvas with the new responsive editor, I think she said something within the next 2 or 3 months. So it's on its way. Should be super cool. Super cool.
I'm gonna wait until that launches. But I've been using Open Build. This is not a plug for them, but yeah, and that's been really helpful as well, which Tanya had recommended I use because I was like, design wise, this is a nightmare. It looks terrible.
That's really cool though. I didn't even know about Open Build. Very neat. I'll have to look into that.
Oh yeah, so it's for like those who are more advanced in like that you've already built everything out, right? Like with Canvas, you have to start from the beginning. So there's different options and components that you can kind of just add in. So for example, what we were working on yesterday, that messaging pop-up, that was created, that was just an open build copy paste. So then basically you can just modify it, but all of this is built and kind of already framed perfectly and like the design. So it's a lot cleaner instead of going in and trying to like gridlock everything and make sure
Yeah.
that it all
Yeah, definitely. Very cool. Well, thanks for showing me this. I appreciate it. Yeah.
for sure.
Real quick, I just want to say we got that issue solved. Very glad. Or at least we're sort of working towards the right direction. Jonathan, do you have anything else you wanted to ask?
I just have like a really small, quick one, and
Yep.
it's just yesterday we were talking about using backend workflows to log a user out after a certain amount of time.
Yes. Did that work?
No, I just couldn't get it working. Yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong or. Yep. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll go to the login page. Yeah, cool. So after the log the user in action, I've got it schedule API workflow, logout flow.
Yep.
And I just set it to current date time plus 1 minute. And where is it? There it is. So this is the logout flow, and it's just log the user out. So it's just super simple.
I wonder if, so now you're saying it doesn't work at all. The user that is logged in that then is on your application is not forced to logged out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I can show you quickly if you want.
Yes, please. Yeah. If you want to set it to like 5 seconds or something.
Yeah, let's do that. Five seconds.
I like the background. That was neat.
Yeah, thank you. Something a bit different, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've logged in. I think about 5 seconds has passed now. Yeah.
Sure. I think what I would end up doing here is I would set a custom state on this user. I'd say this user is logged in equals yes. And then what I would do is a do when true. And so this login flow, the backend workflow, after a certain amount of time, it's going to set the state as a certain whatever we want to call it, a yes or no, perhaps. And so when logged in, and we'd perhaps let's do it right now, actually. So let's go ahead and set state.
After the log the user out?
We'll end up deleting that more than likely. So yeah, let's just do a set state there. I wonder if we can set a state on a user, or we might have to change the record on a user actually. Let's so not do a state. Let's make a change to a user. Let's just say logged in, and that's a yes or no. Cool. And so now this workflow is going to the logout flow. Go back.
Oh, you want to be in the backend workflow? Yep.
Yep. So this is where we're going to change. We're going to make a change to a user. So go to account. Up, and it's somewhere here, right? Make changes to current user. Yep. And then logged in is yes. Okay. And now we're going to go back to our our login page, or truly this would probably want to be set in the header because the header is going to be active on all of the pages. So we'll be able to at least be always.
I'm not actually using the header. I had to use like a floating group because it basically wasn't floating. And I remember talking to you when you said I could use JavaScript to get around that, but I just ended up using a floating group.
Okay.
Unless I could make an invisible header or something, I don't know, but.
Definitely an option, but since we're here, this will at least be a proof of concept and a test here. So what we're going to do is add a new event, and then when condition is true. So click here to add an event, not an action. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry, gotcha. Yep.
Do when condition is true. It's under general.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, no worries. And so we are then going to log the user out here. So log the user out. And then only when current users logged in equals yes. And then, fingers crossed, this should work. And we have it set for about 5 seconds, right?
This
Oh,
is,
I'm sorry. Yeah, the
Yep.
only one should be set there. My apologies. Yep.
oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And get rid of this one, yep.
Yeah, we don't need it. It's a bit redundant.
So we're just gonna test if it logs out at all at this stage, and then,
That's right. Yep.
yep, cool.
And depending on how you want to have your app set up, you could set it in an invisible header, or I mean, you could set it up on each page. However,
Weird.
go to Bubble no code apps. Or I'm sorry, I'm looking at your tab. Yeah, go to that tab.
Yep.
So nothing has changed. Go ahead and refresh because that now is probably gonna kick us out. Okay, never mind. There's another thing that we can do here, and that's just do every 5 seconds, basically.
So what's triggering this to go? It's just constantly polling for when this condition's met. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. That in theory, that's what it should be doing. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's, instead of doing a do when, let's click here to add an event.
Mhm.
And then we're going to do when do every 5 seconds. And yeah, we'll just take that same logic and we'll apply it here. So
Yep.
only when the user is before we test this, let's just go to your user page and check on whether or not the user is currently logged in equals yes. Logged in is yes. Okay. Let's set that as a no, because we're going to want to test it. We're also going to want to do after the logout function to change that user to
So no. Yep.
yeah.
Cool. So we'll test this now.
Okay, so every 5 seconds, it's going to take a look. You know, we may have to wait 10 seconds. And also, I suppose one of the questions is, this user currently, we have it where it says log out in the top right hand corner. These are conditional set, so only when a user is logged in sees this, right? Do you have a conditional set on the page so if a user is not logged in, they can't access this page?
Yeah. So we have like a dual login. So essentially, all the branding is stored in the the bubble database, whereas all this content is actually from an API flow. So if they're not logged in, none of this content will populate. Yeah.
Gotcha. I wonder if can we also, so after we log them out, can we direct them to a page? So the do in every 5 seconds, can we say log the user out and then navigate them to a page? Yeah, let's see if this works here. Okay, and we're waiting, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a do when true, or I think we still have both of those conditions set up though, right? No, yeah, okay. So you see where it says when do when current users logged in. Let's delete that because we're gonna keep just this one every 5
I
seconds.
just want to see that it actually works. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so real quick before we do that, because we have another conflicting event, though when current users logged in as yes, it's right next to it to the right. Let's delete that guy. Okay, cool. Huh, huh, huh. Do a step-by-step and refresh the page for me real quick. I might have to continue to think about this.
Yeah, all good. It's good to know that it's actually difficult because I had to look at this for quite a while and I couldn't figure it out. So
I mean, yeah, what we're doing seems pretty straightforward, right? It doesn't seem like it would be that crazy, but yeah, Bubbles saying something isn't working the way it wants it to. So page is loaded. Cool. Yep. So current page is loaded and current user is logged out. Do we have that?
that's
somewhere?
that's just another thing I've added. That's basically where it just navigates them off the page if they're not logged in, just like an extra parameter.
Let's
Here.
disable that workflow real quick.
How would I just say? Oh, here we go. Awesome.
Yeah, right in there. Because I'm wondering if there's something conflicting with the way that Bubble's looking at it. Because honestly, the logic that we're implementing is really straightforward.
I was about to say it's super simple. Yeah. Oh, get rid of this.
Huh. We're on index clone copy. Hasn't logged the user out.
No.
Darn. Yeah, this really is a tricky one. I'm gonna have to definitely think about this more. So I have two things to think
All good.
about for you.
Yeah.
The URLs and the users.
No, that's fine. And yeah, I guess if I can just have a look at that property, or sorry, the month drop down at some point, that would be amazing as well. Because
Yes,
make
absolutely.
make our calendar much more functional. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's
absolutely.
awesome. Thanks for that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to. Honestly, I just love solving problems. So it's perfect.
You're right in the right industry then. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say perfect. Well, I am sorry that we weren't able to get a definitive answer. Interesting, but we'll get it for you. I promise.
Yep. All good.
And Alexandria, she did say BRB at 8:20. It has been 5 minutes. Alexandria, are you still there by any chance?
I am back.
Okay, we're gonna hop over to you real quick and help you out.
I might let you guys go now, but thanks for your help, Cameron. It's been awesome, and I really appreciate you going out of your way to look at those solutions, you know, outside of the sessions and stuff. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I'm glad. Just join whenever you can. You know where to find me.
Yep, sounds good. Catch us later.
Catch you later. Perfect. And Alexandria, you did say that you were thinking that it would be probably a bit more appropriate to do it after office hours, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool.
My
Okay, cool. No worries. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and sign us off here. I'm just going to let everybody know. Thank you for joining our bubble office hours. Now we're going to transition to after office hours, where if you do have something that is sensitive, maybe you are working with clients that don't want your project to be shared or their project to be shared or anything of the sort, you join us after office hours. It's private. We're going to make sure that you're taken care of. And members of the Pro NoCoder community are allowed to join us. So with that said, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.